Alright guys, MTech Guy here. Now if you've been following the channel, you'll have seen that I changed out the shocks on the little 1 Series, the E87, not that long ago. Now since I put them videos out, I've had a few subscribers request that I give some feedback on the shocks that I fitted. So I've put a little video together today and I'll just run through what I found with the new Bilstein shocks that I fitted. So I fitted Bilstein B4s. Now there are two types of B4s for these cars. There's the ones for M Sport suspension and then the regular type. Now the M Sport suspension, the car sits a little lower than an SE or regular model, so these shocks are a little shorter to match the M Sport springs correctly. Now for the B4s, I didn't go for the Bilstein B8s like I originally planned. So B8s are for M Sport suspension, B6s for regular suspension, but B8s are much stiffer. So these are a little bit closer to the original M Sport suspension shocks and struts, but they're approximately 10% stiffer than the stock ones, which is nice. So the thing is, with shock absorbers, they wear so incrementally over time that when you do change them out, it feels like a massive improvement once you've replaced them. It has just been night and day. The ride quality, everything has been so nice to drive since I fitted 4 new shocks. I also put 4 new tyres on it at the same time. Made a huge difference. So these cars do ride a little harsh from the factory, especially with the run flats they came with when they were new. If you haven't got rid of the run flat tyres, you need to get that taken care of first. But a lot of it is down to the wheelbase of the car. So essentially, it has an almost identical suspension setup to an E90 3 Series, which is of course a larger car with a longer wheelbase and wider track, but utilises the same multi-link arm setup, unlike say an E46 which uses a wishbone setup at the front. So this short wheelbase doesn't soak up the bumps and undulations in the road as well as a car with a longer wheelbase. It's, for instance, like comparing the ride of an old Jaguar XJ with say a Volkswagen Golf. No matter what suspension setup you fit to the Golf, it'll never ride like a Jaguar XJ. So with these cars, you're always up against it with the short wheelbase if you're looking for that ride quality, but they do ride harsh. So whatever you do to them, they're always going to ride harsh. But these 1 Series in the 130i guys, it is a hot hatch and they are a real little nimble rear wheel drive hatch. Great handling. The way the shocks are set up in these cars, they rely heavily on the bump stops, which adds to the harshness at times. Now if you've seen my shock replacement video, you'll have seen how worn my shocks were. All 4 wouldn't retract properly, 1 front strut was leaking, and the 2 front bump stops were pretty chewed up. Actually, all 4 bump stops had been previously installed incorrectly. Whoever worked on the car previously just slit them down the sides, pushed them on without removing the springs and shocks, didn't do the job properly, so they were operating horribly. Now from factory, the ride isn't perfect, but since fitting these new shocks, it's made such a vast improvement to the ride in comparison to what it was like prior. Now it doesn't feel super soft or glidey. The way I would describe it is firm but compliant. Really nice road handling, but it will soak up the bumps on the road well for the most part. Now I'm really pleased I went for the B4s over the B8s that I'd originally intended to fit. Such a nice compromise between ride and handling. It's a real nice happy medium. I think the B8s would have been way too harsh, and like I say, these cars do ride harsh anyway, but the handling's been great. I'm really happy with the B4s, so any of you guys thinking of fitting these shocks, I'd say go for it. They were a great price as well, but if you're building a hardcore track car, then I'd say go for the Bilstein B8s. And if you've still got your original shocks in your E87 1 Series and they're beyond 60,000 miles, then I'd say change them out because they're going to be shot. Alright guys, so if you found the video interesting, don't forget to give it a like and make sure you go and check out the rest of my YouTube channel for more BMW content. Consider subscribing if that's your cup of tea. I'm MTech Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.